It's amazing what happens when you can clean your camera. Hello. This week I'm teeing up a new letter for you. There are not many left. Okay, I'm a little tired today, but that's understandable. I'm not going to get into why, but the camera looks way better, so here we go. It is T's. T's are a good letter. They start with Taito Game Music, Volumes 1 and 2. Oh my gosh, I should refilm everything. It's so much cleaner. You can see everything really well now. It was just like smudge dirt from my camera. Anyway, The Tale of Three Trees. What was that all about? I don't remember. And we get into Tangerine Dream here. Yes. Excuse me. The nice thing about some of these Tangerine Dreams is that they look kind of 80s based on like the packaging of something like this, Green Desert, and it was released in the 80s. But when you look at it, it actually is an earlier 70s Tangerine Dream album, which is kind of more interesting, really, for the most part. I don't know if I have too much to say about these. You know, I got into listening to more of them. They're an interesting group, you know. The last one I listened to was this collection here, and it's like time sounded really very Pink Floyd-ish. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really know too much what to say. They're for German. What other than they're good, I guess. Oh, I do know what to say about the Tape Beatles, though. Oops. Let me put that right. And that is that I was thrilled to discover the Tape Beatles. They are a group from Iowa, and I'm from Iowa, so I only work in outer space. Let's see. Now, the fun thing about this first one here, which I think is their best one in many ways, I guess it probably isn't. I don't know. Maybe the other ones are better in certain ways, but what I liked about that first one was kind of personal to me, I guess. They had, I think it was K101 Hit Station, and they're talking about like 1988, late 80s, when they recorded these bumpers and things for their material. And I could have possibly been listening to the same station. They're naming out like some cities in Iowa. And so that was fun to just kind of, I don't know, I felt like a little connection there, which is more obscure. Tattletale is a feminist who, I don't know, is this the one that hates men so much that they, I don't remember. Yeah, I think probably is. Looking at this, it kind of checks all the boxes for, yeah. I would say this like lapses into like anti-male things, and you know what? I don't know why you would be anti-male. It's very silly to be like anti anybody, really. Why? Well, I know why, but still, it's never going to get us anywhere. These two are kind of cool. They're techno tracks. They're early-ish techno, I think. I like early techno because, well, it's fresh. You know, it's very new, and I'm trying to look at when it was from. Maybe up here it'll tell me. No such luck. That's okay. Anyway, this is Volume 2 and Volume 5 of early techno music. I think they're early 90s. I've been kind of showing off some of that stuff. What was this? Tears for Fears. Yes, I see that, but what was it? It's some broadcasts, I guess, from '83. I don't know. I think, you know what? I don't remember. I think. I know. They're the same people that kind of put out a few weird things like the Black Flag and a few video game soundtracks, and they say like promo, even though it's not promoting anything really. These ones are. Excuse me again. These ones are. What is this? Special limited edition cassette, Mother's Talk. I'm guessing that's an interview one. It's so hard to remember. And Everybody Wants to Mix the World, which you can only get in like Spain. Not really a very common one, but just some remixes of their big hits. And yeah. Was this a single? I mean, oh, this is their 2021 thing. Yeah, 2021 album. Basically, Tears for Fears is especially a song like Everybody Wants to Rule the World, and the other one, na 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 na, whatever that song is. Something happens and I'm head over heels. That's what it is. Those are like masterpieces of the 80s. They're just, they are so very much emblematic of that. Whatever it is, whatever they were on, whatever drugs they were doing, however much coke they did to get that perfect snare sound on Shout, you know, it's all there, and it's really good. These Teenage Jesus and the Jerks, this is Lydia Lunch when she was young, I guess. And in fact, the live stuff from the late live stuff from '77, she always talks about, I think his name is, the guy from television, Richard Hell and the Voivods. She's like dating him, I think, at the time or something. She's always talking about him. Anyways, a pretty good, very early version of Riot Girl music. If she'd come out with it in the early 90s or whenever, or 2000s or whatever, it would have been like, almost the same, really. But it was obviously very, very new back in 77, 78. She's not the only one, because there are like the Slits and a few other groups that kind of are going there. Oh yeah, Polystyrene especially. Yeah, she's part of that, whether she wants me or not. Like whether she wants, I mean, if you asked her, she'd probably say "fuck that" or whatever. She'd have something snarky to say about it. By the way, her interview with Nardwuar is a classic. Nardwuar has an answer for everything she says and knows more about herself than she probably does, but she dismisses him the entire time, and because of the way he talks, and it's kind of incredible. But she has to kind of address him anyway, because he keeps coming up with, it's a good interview. He keeps coming up with more and more stuff. The video game, I don't think I ever played that. Here's something that I just listened to, and it is very important to me because it's got this like teen beat. It's like I've got so many teen beat things, and a few of them I'm going to show off here. The most rare ones happen to fall under, Synthetic Socks. Whoops, that was under SY. It almost made it, but it's SY instead of TA. But anyway, if you really wanted to look, this thing here has, I was just reading this just before I got on, so I had to read all this stuff, but this is our Teen Beat catalog that has every little good thing, and like most of them are cassettes. Now, Mark Robinson was the name of the person I was trying to talk about last time. 2 Bar will be coming up. That's the second most rare one. Synthetic Socks is probably the most rare one that I've got. 2 Bar. Some people try to sell that for $250 on eBay and stuff. But it's basically, the 2 Bar is the red tape I was talking about a couple weeks ago with Red. And the things that inspired The Simpsons, like your refrigerator's running and all that stuff. Here's the Television 75 demos. They go back. Television's Greatest Hits was alright. That's just like Scooby-Doo or whatever. Okay, let's keep moving here. Tellus number 15. I've already got a copy of that, but I guess I felt like I needed to... Oh, but let's go back to this, because this, even though it's filed under Telltale Heart, that's because of Edgar Allan Poe. The music on here, and I believe it's from 1970 or something. Paul Frees is narrating this, but it's the musician playing on his fancy synthesizers is Morton Garson. Mort Garson, I guess. And it's one of these extraordinarily rare, who knows what the heck. Didn't know much about it. But, and it wasn't really released. But this is a pretty interesting and important tape in my collection. I feel like Mort Garson. And if you don't know Mort Garson, well, he's, Plantasia is probably where to start with him. But I think I also mentioned Lucifer, like back when we were on L's. Here's the Terminator soundtrack, 2 different versions. Tetris, this is by the Apocalypse people, but it looks as though this one wasn't. No, this is a ripoff. Look at how many. It's like 2-3 minutes. I still paid for it in a crack case too, but whatever. Like I probably paid $15 for that. It was like 3 minutes long. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original motion picture soundtrack. All right. Here's my That Dog. Now, I got the. It's too bad because I just on eBay like a couple of new ones showed up. One was selections from, I think, Retreat from the Sun. So we'll start with the demo. Like the first That Dog that ever existed. Why did this band become important to me? I don't know. I couldn't even tell you, really. We assume this is like a legit thing, but it sure doesn't look like if you want to slap that together, you could. But hey, whatever. I mean, it's the music on there. I'm going to assume that it's like real. What I paid like 100 something, 120 for it. That Dog. Yeah, again, like why did I feel the need to get all this That Dog? I don't know. Like I have the Geffen promo version of this too. I just got I'm gonna get it's sent to me a new promo version and then some other things. I got the Totally Crushed Out promo and regular, Retreat from the Sun promo and regular, and then selections from has all 3 of their albums. Promotional. Yeah, but it goes backwards, I guess. And so the last ones are that. And then I'm getting some selections from Retreat from the Sun. So we'll have the full album and the selections. And then Old LP is their new thing. New meaning like in the last 5 years. I think 21 maybe. And let's see. Oh, yes, They Might Be Giants. Well, here you go. Another thing I'm going to be talking about soon. I'll talk about it when I get to it, I guess. They Might Be Giants was, I don't know, pretty important to me in the 90s, I guess, with Flood. They are nerds. They're the kind of nerds. You know what? I don't want to get too into it. But the book is kind of like their last, 2021, I think, 22. And they're still making albums that sound, I guess they're aging nerds, and they sing about a lot of esoteric stuff. But as I keep saying, I've got a compilation from Bar None coming up that I would rather, because they have fellow nerds and they produced and helped out with this compilation on Bar None. Bar None, I guess, is the nerd label. This thing is before Kukul. If you know the Icelandic albums like it, but Björk was not in this band. However, Siki Balderson was in this band, who is the drummer from Sugar Cubes, and who I know, or at least, met a couple of times. I don't really know him, but I was like a drum tech for him for a minute, and that was great. Ziki's like an exceptional drummer. He's the kind of drummer where he starts playing, everybody starts dancing, and to make people dance is kind of an underrated thing about being a drummer. I mean, it's probably the most important thing about being a drummer, and yet we're kind of more interested in how many notes people can play. But I mean, those are both good qualities, of course. I'm not suggesting one is not important. Thinking Fellers Union is another band from Iowa. Speaking of bands from Iowa, where are they from again? Iowa City, I think. I forget. Well, probably Iowa City. And then they ended up in San Francisco. They're pretty weird, but I'm happy to have this one in particular. They're kind of hard to find for some reason. I'm not really finding them, but that's kind of a very cool looking tape there. So I was happy to get that. Of course, that's their first one that you can't really find very often. This is Fort Apache is kind of like Pig Season related. The Throwing Muses and bands like that. It's pretty easy to find that one, by the way. That one just shows up all the time. Worth getting if you're a collector. The Throbbing Gristle. This is IRC 20. I've got 1 through 6. That briefcase shows up for a couple grand every once in a while, but as important as they are and early as they are, finally, I somehow don't entirely connect with. Oh yeah, I do. Whatever. I like them. I'm not gonna rip on Throbbing Gristle. Whatever. What was I gonna say about Throbbing Gristle? You know what I'm gonna say is that I shouldn't have my space heater. Hold on. Not space heater. Whatever this is. There, isn't that better? Why do I have that going on? See? It's much quieter. Okay, the Throwing Muses, though. Speaking of Fort Apache bands, this is... one of them is the self-titled. This is what Warner Brothers promos look like, by the way. One of them is probably Red Heaven or Fat Skier or one of them. Obviously, this is a band I like. Pre-release, Throwing Muses again. This is from 88. Which must mean that the other one is from one of them is from 88 and then another's from 86 or 87. And this, they don't go back that far. So it looks like I've got about 5. If you know these songs, you might be able to tell me which one it is, because they didn't. It looks like on most of these they don't have the album name yet, except for Real Ramona here. Thunderclap Newman. This is a band that I think Pete Townsend was a fan of. Okay, and a few more Indian classical things. Here's some really awesome looking. I don't really pointed out too many of these Vietnamese tapes. They're really fascinating. They have incredible bass playing on them. Okay, Wharton Tears. This is something that could have been if he developed this, some of his music a little bit more, because it's sounds like, I don't know, Glenn Branca and a lot of the people that he produced. He has music that sounds like it too, and it's from 77 and stuff, so he could have been probably a bigger deal had he kind of worked on his own music a little bit more and developed it. But I'm glad he did what he did in producing a lot of the albums of that time, like Glenn Branca and Sonic Youth and people like that. Did he produce Sonic Youth? I think. Anyways, I forget. Timberwolf and the Tall Pines. This is noise music made throughout, with nobody ever recorded, that Wolves have been making for millions of years. you can't tell me that this isn't like a noise record, because these wolves get together and they start to howl, but they howl in these just incredible sounds that they make. And it goes so far beyond anything they need to do. You know, like, what are they communicating? It's like, it's almost like wolves are experimental musicians. Because, like, why would you be howling like that so much? I liked Time. I think the album's called Smooth Ball, by the way. It's an old one. It's been... Okay, but now we get to Time for a Change. This is that Bar None thing I was talking about. And in a way, this just reminds me of, like, music for grad students in 1989. I was thinking about this the other day. Like a grad student in 1989 who has the buzz cut and the mullet, like party in the, like, business on top, party in the back, and is wearing a weird, like, button-down shirt that's untucked, which I guess I do to this day. But but I'm not like these people. They're the kind of people that get into really obscure, weird, esoteric things and music, and I don't understand what planet they're on or what the aesthetic is. I don't understand where they're coming from. They seem very foreign to me, and their sense of humor is kind of elusive to me. So, yeah. Excuse me. Okay, so I'll move on from that, but I just want to say Bar None is the nerd label, and They Might Be Giants were involved with them. And if you listen to this sample, which everybody should, you're going to get the full blast of, like, nerd, weird stuff that doesn't make any sense, but probably that grad student knows the references. And some people want music to just be interesting rather than beautiful. And that's what you get really with that one. I mean, you can't be beautiful when you're like, where are the replacements? Excuse me. Wow. All right. Tin Machine. Here's a couple live Tin Machines. This one, tomorrow, is like, oh my gosh. I was looking for this forever. I don't know if the tape actually came out in 67, probably not, but probably 70s actually. It's a GRT classic. I finally found it. Only $30. I would have paid more. I'm so excited. What was To What End? Oh, I think that's just some random thing. All right, people. It's time to get excited now. I know you're 22 minutes in with me, and you were waiting for this. You thought, okay, well, does he have any Tool? You know, I will never wear a Tool t-shirt. I can't believe people wear t-shirts that say Tool on them. But this one is the real deal. I paid $300 for it. So all you people that love Tool are gonna love this. How do you know it's the real deal? How do you know if it's like, there are bootlegs out there? Well, there's a way to tell, and it's there's a couple ways that the authentic tape looks authentic. If I could just figure that out. Okay, so first of all, you got this Made in the USA right here. Or is it this way? Made in the USA, yes. And secondly, there was something else. It's mostly the Made in the USA. Let's move that to here so we can really see that. Okay. And so we know it's Made in the USA. But is there something on the leader of the tape? There may have been. I looked at the clues at one point. So I authenticated it. It was bought from a music store. So anyway, here's the barcode version of Undertow. Because they were tired of something that, tripped up or something. Walmart may have not wanted to sell it at the time. I'm not really sure because of all the guts and blood. Here's a Lateralis, as we know. 10,000 Days, as we know. And, of course, Fear, which, of course, is not like a... They never really put this out. So this is that guy from, I think, Ukraine or Russia or somebody. But I'm as equally excited about this Tortoise here. This is a unreleased work groups here thing. What was this? It was, I think, oh, it was a remix. At least one, the first song I think was a remix from the group. Oh damn, what are they called? Oval. Yeah, so it's extremely noisy and doesn't sound anything like Tortoise really. You know, Oval's just gonna like glitch out your stuff if you let them. Here's TNT. Now these are sort of real, authentic. They're from Poland. They're from you say city slang on them, but they're in all rights reserved, so it must be true, right? Well, I don't know, but they are from, what is the group? Whatever the name of that is. It's not, I mean, yeah, it's Thrill Jockey for sure, but there's the name of the label from Poland. Same thing. I mean, Tortoise hasn't aged well. I'm not going to give him that. You kind of had to be into him at the time. Well, maybe I won't find out the name of the label from Poland. This isn't from Poland. It's Arab Strap was all right. Oh, and Oval is also on this. Isn't that wild? Oval is on. I wonder what Tortoise and Oval have to do with each other. Here's Standards. By some to be considered their best, I suppose. And I want to say it's called City something. No. Sound Improvement, that's right. Sound Improvement, there it is. The name of the label that puts out Tortoise on cassette from the late 90s, 2000s. Okay. And what else? Tree People, that was enjoyable. That's a K. Here's a K cassette of the band Tree People. A worthy band, I would say. Tresor 2. This, for some reason, is expensive and important. I don't really know why Tresor 1's not that important or something, but Tresor 2 is. It's 93 and it's early. Yeah, I admit I don't know. A Techno Alliance. I was able to find one and sort of talk the seller down a little bit. And so that worked out. Here's the actual release of Tresor 2, by the way. So you got the promo and the actual one. But nobody seemed to care about the actual release. I don't know what rhyme or reason for that. Oh, Tripmaster Monkey. You're not going to be excited about this, but here's another Iowa connection. This is a band from the Quad Cities, and I found this. To me, this is exciting because, like, it was one of my first tapes, especially like a local tape that I had, and it's a good band for the most part. You know, these Faster Than Dwight ones, or actually the demo, really, but they're really their most catchy with their first two, and then they got maybe a little less catchy, but by the time of practice changes, they're still an enjoyable band. And I have a lot more Tripmaster Monkey in my other section, so to be able to find these ones. Oh, in fact, I've got the one that I really wanted was the one. I finally contacted them. I made friends with them on Facebook, and I asked, and they sent me one for free, an original tape of theirs. So their first. I think it was really before they had an album on a major label. Anyway, they're from Iowa. They're from Des Moines. Is it Davenport, Quad Cities? Yeah, Illinois, Iowa. And like their first album is super catchy, and I don't know if it's like it's a teenage album, so it's not like a masterpiece or anything, but it is a kind of a teenage masterpiece in a lot of ways. And I can see where if you were in that band, you would definitely revere that as a memory, and look very fondly upon being in that band. So I doubt that any of those members are going to see this video, but I could relate to that idea. Okay, so Trips Shakespeare. These guys kind of ended up being a little bit more dorky than I remember, but they're not bad. What was this one? Yeah, they're okay. I don't know. There's like a few flaws to them, but it's probably same thing with this other band and all the Trip bands: Trip Master Monkey, Trip Shakespeare, and Tripping Daisy. Bill, it just not into it really, or at least I don't remember being into it. And then they come out with this, and this is like a masterpiece. This is like one of the best albums I've heard in a very long time, I think. What the hell happened, Trip? These guys, I guess they got somebody from Perry Ubu in the band, but why would that make them so good? I mean, I really want to listen to this album again. It's really, 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 it is. It's quite something. Yeah, and Jesus hits like the atomic bomb indeed. So everything silly they did with like they don't use jelly or whatever, I forgive them because then they came up with this one, and I love this one. So, all right, Trita was a very melodic, similar to who? Shoot, see, it was in my head the other day when I listened to it. I thought, oh, this band is kind of like somebody. Well, they're more melodic than just regular death metal type stuff. They reminded me of somebody, but I can't. It escapes me. I'm sorry. Oh, another exciting band, Truman's Waters. Now, I don't have any relationship to this band, but here we are, and I've got some really excellent. A band that I read about or heard about a long time ago, never really found any, and then suddenly I was able to find a bunch. I think it's their first one. Godspeed is. They have a whole bunch of records called Godspeed, which might make you a little confused with Godspeed You Black Emperor, which is also an incredible band. But this is just a point of pride in my collection to have this and to have this. By the way, not that any of you are watching it, but if you wanted to, if you are watching this, there's an available copy of this right now for $10 on Discogs. So go buy it. I don't need it because I've got it. Santi Buspo was another one. Yup. Just an incredible band. I mean, doesn't get enough remembrance or accolades. And a sort of conceptual band, I would say, because it's a little hard to understand what's going on with them sometimes. And I really need to wrap this up. It's like been gone on half an hour. It's not going to be that hard, though, because like here we have Chinese opera. And this Chinese opera is often from the mid-60s. I think 66 is the earliest. This is somebody Sang. The Sang was the last name. Sang was also the name of my Chinese English teacher in high school. But, it just sounds like, I love that it sounds like, and I want to know how long they've been doing this. they say some or sing something, and then it sounds like somebody drops a whole bunch of instruments. They're really just playing the cymbals and gongs. But they play them. Their entire approach to music is so completely different to everything we do in the West that it's fascinating. So I kind of had to listen to all these. It was part of a big old thing I got. All right. And finally, T2. Well, this was good. T2 was good. Finally, though, we have the Tube Bar. Speaking of, didn't I remember talking about the Teen Beat thing? This is an original Teen Beat. Somebody's trying to sell one of these for $200 and some $50, $30, whatever. I didn't have to pay that. But this is Teen Beat 22, and it is the first version that we know of a full release on cassette of Red. talking about, the stuff that inspired The Simpsons. Like, they call him, they harass him, and he always responds with, like, I'll cut your belly open, you... Oh, I shouldn't even say, you mother F, you C sucker, whatever. C standing for cock. And then this is the release of 2 Bar again. Cock isn't a bad word, it means a rooster. Right, a re-release of it. I think this is the Jerky Boys version. Yeah, it's got a Jerky Boys looking thing there. Bar Bum Bastards. Okay, the Bar Bum Bastards must be the 2 people who made. That's what they're calling them. Finally, 2 Mo Tucker tapes. Happy to have those. I went to go get my practice pads signed by Mo Tucker. I was thinking about, like, awkward. I was talking about Ziggy Balderson and how it was sort of awkward to talk to somebody who's famous because they're famous, I guess, and you think that you can have some kind of meaningful friendship with them, but you really have nothing to say because they're, and so, it was because, like, somebody called William Shatner, and William Shatner was talking, like, what was he saying? He was saying, like, he's trying to get phone service, and the guy wasn't, he knew it was William Shatner, but he wasn't asking for, like, saying how great he was as Captain Kirk or anything stupid like that. He was just doing his job to get him better phone service, and then William Shatner just out of nowhere says, like, I want better service. And the guy went, I'm giving it all I got, Captain, or something. And then, like, William Shatner laughed. And so that's how you do it. When you meet a celebrity, you don't point it out. You just, like, you let things happen, and sometimes they'll give you something, like little cool things. That's not how I did things with Mo Tucker. Like, I was creepy. I went up with my practice pad. I wanted Mo Tucker and Sterling Morrison to sign him. And Mo was like, why don't you have the drummer? Because she wasn't playing the drums in her band. It was her band. She was playing her own songs. But I guess they had Victor De Lorenzo from the Violent Femmes. And she's like, why don't you have him sign? I'm like, well, because I want the Velvet Underground to sign my practice pad. I was hoping to get John Cale and Lou Reed. But anyway, she signed it. And also the times that I've spent, like, with Ziggy, I was just kind of in awe of, like, I feel like I would have been in awe if he hadn't played with Bjork in a band. I think I would have been just like, because he was such an incredible drummer, and kind of like a fascinating person to just be around, and a good sense of humor. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. This was Tease. Tease was a good letter, obviously. And a great, collection. Next week is Use, but you are not going to see much in Use because there's like 2 U's that I have to listen to, and then a whole bunch of. But I'll try to listen to a bunch of other stuff that I had to put aside the last 2 months to get S's and T's done, because, like, I just had to listen to a ton of S's and T's to make this happen, and U's is just 2. So I'll be trying to get a head start on V's, but we're kind of winding this whole thing down, and I have to start working on my movie and posting because I'm getting behind on that. But anyway, good to blather on for a good 40 minutes here. I hope that the 4 of you that watch this, or probably less, actually I don't think anybody watched my last video, enjoy it. Okay, bye.